Hey guys, welcome back to my Wolfed Out Skyrim series. I'm Roarin the Werewolf, and this is going to be a Helgen Reborn wrap-up video. I'm also going to talk about my future plans for my series that I am doing right now. So bear with me as I talk through this Helgen Reborn mod itself. Now, the mod storyline at the beginning of the whole quest sequence was really good. I really liked the little bits of lore that it added to bring you in, like the books, the little tiny bits of storyline dialogue that comes in. The voice acting was mostly really good. There were some NPCs that I really didn't like their voice acting for, and the voices tended to be a lot softer than the normal NPCs that are in Skyrim. So that's why most of the NPCs are really soft sounding. I turned up the volume as much as I could during the editing process of doing these videos. That's why I sound incoming a little bit loud, a little bit just I didn't want to have my breathing in the background either. I wanted to keep it low enough where you didn't have to hear that little bits of annoyance, because it does annoy me whenever I hear it when I'm replaying and editing my videos. But the NPCs, they were kind of soft. I have it turned up. I do. I honestly do. And I bet you somebody was at least a little bit irritated on how they couldn't hear the NPC dialogue. Good thing I at least had the subtitles in. But during the middle of the quest line, like the evaluations, it dragged on, especially with the large dungeon known as Stadamar, which was the second to the last evaluation I had to do. Don't get me wrong, Stadamar, the dungeon itself, was fantastic looking. It looked amazing, utterly amazing. I bet it took him a lot of time in order for him to create. I mean, the scenery was beautiful inside the dungeon, and even though I cut out most of that video, I cut out about an hour from that whole thing of me just exploring Stadamar itself. But the evaluations did drag on. If they would have done it where I would have had to take 2 recruits instead of 1 at a time, they could have used those 3 extra quests in order to do something special here. Because after the evaluation quest, there was only 1 kind of construction quest where I would have to go and retrieve logs and then participate in the fight club in order to get the owner of the mill to start working again. That was fantastic. The whole fight club thing, that was fantastic. I really liked that quest. I wish it had a little bit more constructive quests along the way, like me going out to recruit an alchemist and a blacksmith, a mage. Just little bits like that could have really done it in. And I didn't like the fact when I was progressing through the quests, through the storyline, that at some point the construction of Helgen just stopped. I mean, just completely stopped. They cleared out all the rubble, but then there was a point where all the construction stopped until you hit at the end of the quest line, at the end of Helgen Reborn. Then the construction kits right back up again after all that is said and done, because it takes 6 to 9 in-game days for the whole city to basically show up. Let me go ahead and walk you through this a little bit. As you can see, right here is outside our player home that we get. we'll talk about the player home in a little bit. But it did bring up houses for NPCs. The inn is great. I really like the inn itself and a lot of other shops. But it has a ton of empty space like this. This is completely empty. I would put my horse right here. If they had carriages with food, if they had open stalls and such, like you would see in Whiterun, if they had a little bit more flora, I would have really liked it. The shops are in a nice area, all clumped together, which is good, right next to the player home, so you can just basically walk outside and go into any one of these shops. But I wish it had a little bit more, like on the blacksmith, it could have used a lot of containers filled with iron ingots, metal piles, just something to make it look a little bit more immersive. Because as you can see, for a blacksmith, this is pretty bland. There's no iron ingots. There's nothing lying around. For appearance sake, basically, I wanted the apothecary to have kind of like a little garden filled with her stuff. I just wanted a little bit of extra stuff added in, and there's just a little bit more emptiness. They didn't have a farm. I was hoping that somebody would end up growing crops around here. They could have used one of these empty spaces in order to grow food. There's no livestock. There's no cows. There's no chickens. Just lying around. It feels empty. And the keep itself, on the outside, the keep itself just looks bland. And they did very little with the inside of the keep. Very little. They did add a couple of beds and tidbits in there, but at the end of the quest line, there's just nothing in there. Like, this could have been a whole little barracks area. They could have had tents out here. They could have just had anything to bring this area to pop. A couple of outside torches, fire pits, just something that really sends this place to make it more alive. The NPCs that are gathered around here, the ones that were doing construction, some of them went to do work as shopkeepers, some of them added as guards. But one little thing about it, they added houses out here, and I was still no farms. This is Marcus's house. He has a pretty nice house from the look of it on the outside. It does have this tiny bit of cozy feel, but look at this. There's snow under. Ugh. I mean, come on. Come on. And you added 3 more houses down the road a long way. You could have done a lot more right here. They could have used a well. Now, I'm not... I even though I am griping on this quest mod a little bit, it is good. Don't get me wrong, it is good. They done something useful for a place that had no use other than the beginning intro sequence of the game. And I wish I could have gotten on a quest line with Curious, just because I like his voice. I wish they would have taken me and him on a quest line. And I wish they had kind of like an invasion quest where either the Thalmor invade Helgen or we invade the Thalmor at some place, some point in time. Now, at the end of the whole questline sequence, after the whole fight club, everything just started kicking in. Everything just started happening. The traitor's been found out. The whole getting set up in a trap, and Valeria's dying. All that was at the end. Huge end climax. But it needed that build up. It didn't have that build up. The Fight Club was a good starting point. I wish they would have had that earlier to bring people in. I wish they had that quest earlier on, like at the beginning of the evaluation quest lines. At the beginning of that, then it would have brought it up. I wish I had a break in between the evaluations, because 6 of them in a row is just too much. Too much. I wish I had a quest line to break up that little bit where you had to do where you would have to take them all out to evaluate them. It could have used a tiny bit more subtlety, because in most storylines you want it to bring people in. So you want that peak at the beginning of a quest line, and then you want to slowly bring them down, and then have it stay at a certain point in a level, and then bring them back up again, and then bring them down, and then shoot them right back up again for an exit. You want that. Now I'm going to talk about this player home. Don't get me wrong, it's a good player home. There's a lot of decent stuff in there. But the home itself, the home part, the top part that you see right above me, that's the place you sleep. It didn't have this warm, cozy feeling like I have with the other house mods that I have installed, like my Breeze Home mod or the Hyunarm and the Honeyside mod that I have installed. It didn't have that warm, cozy feeling up in the tower. Now below, that's where all the stuff is. In the basement part, in the underground cave, that's where all the stuff is. And this house mod is basically like a trophy house mod, a trophy room house mod. Much like Deus Mons. Deus Mons is a very huge castle. That's basically a trophy house. Now I am going to do a bonus video on the Helgen Reborn player home, but that won't happen until much later in this playthrough, because there is a lot of stuff that gets unlocked as you play through Skyrim, as you complete the Thieves Guild quest, the Mage Guild quest, because there are displays that pop up after you complete certain points in the time. There are certain statues, models, little things just end up popping up during your playthrough. So until I get most of it unlocked, I won't be doing the bonus video just yet for the house itself. And I'll probably end up decorating it, fluffing it up a little bit more before that happens, because at the end of it, I'm going to have a lot of stuff. I might even put some of the enchanted items and weapons that I get during the subs from here to now in this area in order to make it pop. Like create duplicates of them, like have them on my followers, but also have them on display as well. Okay, what's next? We should talk about followers. Each one of the evaluated guards is a potential follower, and also that woman that talked to us in episode 2 or 3. Their voice acting is fantastic. I really like the Argonian. I really like the Khajiit, and I kind of like the brother and sister Red Guards. I also like that woman that ends up walking, whatever her name is. I can't remember. It starts with a C. But then there are other guards like this orc right here. He was part of the construction crew, and he became a guard at the end of the construction. He can't follow you though. So, You still maintain your followers, and I haven't tested around to see if they have any extra dialogue afterwards, but I don't think they do. I don't think they have any extra dialogue other than what was said in their quest lines. And I could use another Argonian follower, because you only get one naturally in the game. Okay, what is next on the agenda? I should talk about future plans for my series on this channel. Okay, I am going to do a 250 sub bonus video series as well. I was kind of debating on whether or not should I do that, because I didn't have an idea of what I was going to do for it. I thought I was going to have to wait till 500 in order to do that. But that isn't the case, because I figured out what I plan on doing for 250 sub bonus. It is either going to be one of 3 mods. 2 of them of which are kind of like basically building your own business. One is Heliarchan Farm, and the other is Winstead Mine. Both of which you can build up, hire NPCs, hire a business, hire guards, and continue on making a profit from that. I was going to do maybe a tiny quest line for that. Or the third one, I disable the expanded towns and cities mod for Winterhold itself, just that little bit, because it's a really great mod, and they don't have a rebuilt version of Winterhold. So I'm going to be downloading Coax's rebuild Winterhold mod that only affects the town, because I already have a great College of Winterhold mod already installed. You basically rebuild Winterhold, and I think I saw on some other person's mod video review that it has quest lines in it, where I would have to do some errands, and then a new part of the city ends up being created. I'm probably going to do that and rebuild Winterhold as my 250 sub bonus, because it's been like 80 years in lore and lore standards where the collapse happened, and they still hadn't started on the construction of rebuilding that town. There's something wrong with that, Jarl. There's something wrong with him. So I'm going to end up doing that. I'm going to end up still breaking off certain parts of Skyrim into its each own playthrough, because I'm going to restart my Dawnguard series again, get that back up and running to its point. I'm probably going to have my wolf pack join me for a couple of those quest lines, a few of them, but I'm also going to have maybe some vampire hunters in with my pack. So not every single one of my pack members are going to be in the quest line. I'm going to have Ingrid and that other one. The other one, I can't remember, in with the Vampire Dawnguard series. Let's see, what else? I'm also going to be starting up the Thieves Guild quest line. Janessa's going to join me in the Thieves Guild quest line. And I also have 2 vanilla followers all set and ready and equipped to join me on those as well. You'll see them later on. So once I get started in that, that's going to be its own playthrough, its own playlist. But it's all still mainly going to be in the big giant hole of Skyrim. What else? What else is there? I did want to talk about my Fallout 3 series. Now I can't rename items in that game, so I can't make enchanted items in there. But once I get started on DLC like Mothership Zeta and the Pit, I am going to end up putting those in their own separate playlists as well to get my YouTube channel all prettified and stuff. Also, as the 250 sub bonus, I'm going to do the same thing like I had with the 100 sub bonus, where I would create either a weapon, a shield, or an armor set enchanted for either me or one of my followers to use. I'm also thinking about doing it for every 100 subs too. So I would have a 200 sub enchanted weapon, shield, armor piece, or piece of jewelry named after that person. So every 100 subs is going to get another enchanted item named after them. I'm kind of looking forward to that. So not only will I have one for my followers to use, I think I should create duplicates for displays and stuff, since I have so many house mods and everything. Alright, I believe that's it. I believe that's all I wanted to talk to you about in this wrap-up video of Helgen Reborn and channel news updates. Skyrim Channel 5 news. Well, I want to thank you guys. I mean, come on. I'm at over 170 subs right now. I'm glad. I'm thankful, because I didn't think I was going to be at least this high. I was at 30 subs for the longest time. So we have less than 30 subs for another enchanted item and weapon, and then 250 sub bonus. And after that, a 500 sub bonus, 1,000 sub bonus, so on and so forth. You get the gist of it. So, thanks for watching. You guys stay furry. And remember, check me out on the next video. You want to know the mods I use? They're down below. Give them a look-see. Thanks. Bye-bye.